Air Adventures of Biggles.
In a crumbling hut on the island of Inagua, Biggles is within grasp of his objective. All the clues have suggested that in this hut, the Nazi Wolf, or Hagen as he called himself, hid the stolen plans of terrible German weapons of war. These are the plans which Biggles has been ordered to find. With bowie knife and sharpened sticks, the flyers dig at the patch of earth that was covered by palm fronds. They cut their hands and ruin their tempers, but they're too close to the plans to stop now. Suddenly, Tom Heyman strikes a piece of board. Very excited now, the searchers pull it aside to reveal an empty cavity.
There's nothing there.
The papers have gone.
Are you sure? Feel round inside it. It's pretty deep.
You can poke round if you like, Algy. I've lost interest.
No, nothing in it.
Oh, after all that sweat. What are you grumbling about? Algy and I were plucking at it with our bare hands last night.
I'm still certain that Hagen buried the papers in that patch of dirt.
Of course he did. Everything fits. The lagoon, the mark on the chart, the birds, everything. This was the case, all right. What else could it be?
Von Stahlhein's beaten us to it, that's all.
Or Napoleon Morgan. He was coming from this direction when you saw him, wasn't he, Ginge?
That's right, but I didn't notice him carrying any papers.
We might have hidden them somewhere before going back to the yacht. Is it likely to be a big bundle, Biggles?
I've no idea.
Oh, then that's the answer. Morgan dug them up. There were too many to cart back by himself, so he hid them somewhere while he went for his pals.
Can't be far away.
I don't think it is the case.
Oh, it works out, Biggles.
No, it doesn't. Think back to what happened at the Viga yesterday, Tom. That theory doesn't hook up with it.
Oh, that's true. Morgan didn't actually say he'd found the papers.
He identified the lagoons with the photographs they had, but nothing more.
Now, wait a minute. He didn't have time to say any more. He fainted.
Yes. I can't remember what he was saying at that point, but he hadn't told them much.
Then Tom's theory may be right.
No, I'm sure it isn't. If Morgan had hidden the papers here somewhere, von Stahlheim and Zolotov would have come for them immediately. They wouldn't take risks with us on the island.
Don't forget the storm last night, Biggles.
There was still this morning, Ginge. We've been here for some time, and I'm sure the crooks haven't come this way.
There's one other possibility, you know.
There are probably a dozen, Tom. But what's this?
If those papers are valuable, isn't it likely that Morgan would try to double-cross his pals?
By George, yes. He might have hidden them and told the others nothing about it.
No, even that doesn't make sense.
Well, why not? It seems to me the most likely answer.
Ginge, you said Morgan was going back to the yacht when you bumped him.
Why, yes, but what's that got to do with it?
Simply that if he found the papers, it was before he knew we were on the island.
I still don't see...
He wouldn't have bothered to fill in the hole, and it was filled when you blokes saw it, wasn't it?
That's right. The palm fronds have been pulled back over it.
If there's anything in your theory, Tom, Morgan would have pulled out the papers, hidden them, and told Zolotov that he'd come to the wrong place. As we know, he confirmed this as the right spot.
There's something else, too. I've been thinking about last night when we first pulled away the palm leaves. The earth here had been turned, but not recently.
Oh, I don't know, Algy. It was definitely fresher than the rest of the floor. But...
Yes, but it hadn't been turned yesterday. I have a feeling those papers were taken some time ago.
That puts us in a lovely spot.
Well, who the blazes could have taken them?
If I knew that, I shouldn't be squatting here like a dog that's lost its dinner.
Oh, hanged if I know. I still wonder if the darn things aren't outside here somewhere.
And I'm still wondering if von Stahlheim hasn't got his hands onto them somehow.
Well, you'd better ask him. Here he comes.
What's that?
With Zolotov. There they are, look, coming through the cactus.
Well, that settles one thing. If they're coming here, it means they haven't got the papers. But I'd love to know if they've any idea who has. That was a good suggestion, Ginge. We shall ask them.
Morgan was right, Erich. It is here we shall find the documents. Do you see how the features correspond with the photographs?
Yes, I see that.
Then here, somewhere here, are the papers. It must be so.
I have no doubt they were here, boys, but who knows where they are now?
Oh, those English, always you worry about them. How will they know of Wolf's hiding place?
They knew of the island, didn't they? And wasn't it between the coast and here that Morgan met Hebblethwaite?
Perhaps. But I refuse to believe that they have found the papers before us. Now, the question is, Where must we search for them?
It is difficult to say. Wolf had little imagination except in financial matters. I should think the hiding place would be quite obvious.
There is an old hut ahead. Perhaps there, do you think?
Possibly. It is worth investigating.
Then let us hurry. Now we are so close, I can feel the excitement building in me.
Excited, you, Boris? I've never known you admit to such a weakness.
These plans will help my country, will be invaluable to our cause. That excites me. Yes, I am sure this is a place.
Quite sure, Zoratov?
What?
Bigglesworth.
Why so surprised? It isn't the first time we've met in an odd place, von Stahlheim.
Fine. You told me and I would not listen.
Charming friend you have, Eric. Won't you introduce us?
Your rifle, Eric. Use it.
I wouldn't try tricks like that. I have a revolver in my pocket. And you'll notice I have several friends with me. They, too, are armed.
You are a fool, von Stahlheim. Why do you not shoot when you see them?
I did not feel it would be wise.
Now, that decision was really wise of you, Eric. By the way, what's the idea of the rifle? I know you're quite a nifty shot, but normally you carry a revolver.
We were warned that there are wild boars on the island. Zoratov felt a rifle would be better protection.
Boris doesn't strike me as the courageous type.
Enough of this talk. Move aside and let us go into the hut.
You can go in if you like, but you'll be wasting your time. The stuff isn't there.
I do not know what you are talking about.
Ah, don't come that, old man. Let's call it Hagen's scrapbook, or Wolf's. I think that was the name under which you knew him, von Stahlheim.
It's not in the hut.
It used to be, but it isn't any longer.
You lie. Move aside. I will see myself.
By all means. Give the gentleman room, Lokes.
He has told you, Boris, you will waste your time. He and his friends have already found the papers.
Eric, do you think I'd be wasting my breath with you fellows if I'd found what I came for?
Then where are they? Who has the documents? Tell me at once.
You know, Eric, I don't like your friends very much. Neither that black cutthroat ginge-winged yesterday, nor this arrogant twerp.
You swine! You talk to me like that, and
Stop it, Boris. Don't you see he's trying to make you angry? That way we'll provoke a fight, and we are outnumbered.
I have no intention of fighting.
I'll bet you haven't. Not out in the open like this.
I refuse to take any more of these insults. Come, Eric.
Wait. I think it was not so much your question that Bigglesworth objected to just now as the way you asked it.
That's more like my old Eric. Manners.
I am not amused either, Bigglesworth. But I ask you civilly, do you know who has the papers?
And I'll answer you with equal civility. If I did know, I'd be most unlikely to tell you.
Let us go, Boris.
We will go. But I warn you, Bigglesworth. One day we shall meet again, you and I.
If we do, old man, the pleasure will be all yours.
Swine! Don't stand there smirking, von Stahlheim. Get away from here. I can stand no more of these devils.
I warned you, Boris. We should have expected them here.
Oh, that was wonderful, Biggles. I'll never forget von Stahlheim's face.
Zoratov, too. I thought he'd burst a blood vessel. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it.
I think you did too, Biggles.
Not really. Von Stahlheim I can stomach. But I meant it when I said I didn't care for his friends.
Von Stahlheim doesn't seem much chop to me. He's just a cheap crook, isn't he?
He's an adventurer. Originally, he was a typical cold-blooded German. His only failing was typically German. He hated England for being on the winning side of 2 wars. It's that hatred that sent him into odd camps. Now he's freelancing.
That's the only reason he'd team up with blokes like Zoratov and Morgan. He's a killer, but he doesn't like cutthroats and political toughs.
A political tough. Yes. That's Zoratov. His element is a back room in Europe somewhere. Using other people to do the fighting for him. Well, here, he's out of place here.
Yes, but that doesn't make him any the less dangerous, Biggles.
No, it doesn't. It makes him more so, perhaps. He's trigger-happy. Well, that out of sight, we might as well decide what to do.
Well, I still don't see that we can do anything. I mean to say the papers aren't here, the crooks haven't got them, and after all, we certainly haven't.
Well, these crooks haven't. I agree, that's certain, but I wonder if there aren't any more about.
That occurred to me. You know, other countries might have heard about those plans and sent their agents out for them, of course.
Yes. Well, if that's so, we're sunk. They probably found them ages ago.
I'm beginning to think that's what happened. Which doesn't leave much to do with the kite. Bertie should have come in by now.
Oh, Jesus, Ghost! That just whizzed past my ear!
Back into the hut, quickly!
That's a rifle!
Von Stahlhein's rifle.
What's he trying to do, murder us?
That's incidental. I think he's trying to pin us in this hut. And as there's an open space all round us, he can darn well do it.
Von Stahlhein is a crack rifle shot, and it will be easy for him to keep the Englishmen imprisoned in the hut. What is his object? Can they escape past his fire? Listen again for the thrills in the next chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.